Good afternoon, everybody.
Everybody, good afternoon.
Let us know if you hear us and see us clearly.
I hear you and see you.
You do not. You don't hear them, but you do see them. We see them coming in here. Sissy and brother-in-law, early birds. Hey, Sissy.
I see Cornerstone came in here.
that was what I posted, darling.
Oh,
And then there's Dee Dee and George.
that's George and Dee Dee, not Dee Dee and George. It's George and Dee Dee.
Okay. And my friend Linda Langdon is in the house. And
Miss Linda.
hey, Linda. Hope you had a good day. Let's see who else. Vern. Hey, Verndy. I'm glad you're here,
Vern
sweetheart.
DeLee,
Good talking to you yesterday. And then there's Pastor Norman.
Norman
Pastor
J.
Norman.
Pat.
Yeah. Thank you, Pastor Norman, for letting us know you can hear us and see us. Hey,
Linda.
Pat. And she's saying she can see us and hear us too.
I can see you.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, I checked my registrations and 18 people have registered so far for the Zoom on Sunday. And I wanted to remind you that you can sign up now if you haven't done that already. So most of you, I think, have. But if you haven't done that, of course you can. I put that link in the comment section so you can see it there, and you can hit that link and register right now if you want to. That's going to be our normal Sunday morning thing. We just plan to do it on Zoom because a lot of you said you'd like to have a Zoom where you could see one another and that kind of thing. So that's why we're doing it. Also, it's going to be I call it the birthday Zoom because Pastor's birthday is going to be on the 22nd. And Sunday is the 20th, so he'll be big 75.
Mm-hmm.
But we will be teaching. It won't just be a fellowship. It'll be that and us teaching as well. So I want you to sign up if you can. And I sent an email out. So if you haven't gotten it, please let me know. And you can just go ahead and register right now with that link that I put in the, let me put it in there again, just so that you guys who just came in will see it. Okay. Carolyn Steele just came in. Hey, Carolyn. Glad you're here, sweetheart. Okay. Let's see. How do I want to do this? I will remind you guys about the Zoom later on, so you'll be hearing it a little bit more. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to do our affirmation or our meditation. I like this because it says pretty much everything. And I wanted to respond to what Linda said. She said she'll be at the Zoom, but she hadn't registered yet because it's very early for her. I understand, darling, and you're in another part of the country, and that is very early for you. So if you don't come, I understand. There are some who would have to really stay up in the middle of the night to see us. And so I'm not encouraging you to do that unless you just really, really want to. And it will be available on YouTube. I'm not sure if you can still do comments, but I think you can. For those of you who don't know how to do Zoom, I think that shows it streams onto YouTube as well. So anyway, let's do our affirmation. I want you to just leave all of these things aside for a moment. Put your mind aside for a moment. Put your concerns aside. Suspend all of your thoughts, wishes, and memories. Let them all just be suspended for just a moment. You don't need any of that right now. And sit in this space. Leave everything else out. Don't use your imagination. Not trying to imagine anything. Just be clear. Just sit here being. And if you can, eliminate all of the distractions around you. It would be great. And then you can say this after me if you choose, or you can simply listen, whichever is best for you. Okay? All right, here we go. My heart opens when I see Christ in myself and as myself. I am awakening to this truth that sets me free by showing me that I'm already free. I have looked for God and found myself. I have looked for myself and found God. My heart, which is the heart of God, is now open and exposed. I allow all beliefs, defenses, and accumulated knowledge to be suspended so that I can embody this truth. I lay down all beliefs about God, myself, and others. The veil of my conditioning is being stripped away. And now the concept of myself is being removed. And now there is a divine impartation of knowing. Knowing the truth is my point of recognition of what I am. Seeing God within myself, I find that God is seeing himself. The awareness that I use to see God is the same awareness that God uses to see me. I am witnessing the uncovering of the self that I am. And so it is. And so it is. All right. Very
Okay,
good.
everybody.
Now I need to get you in the picture more. Can you just kind of turn your chair a little bit this way?
I just did.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Good afternoon, Sadie. Good afternoon, Joe. Glad you guys are with us. I'm trying to get used to this getting dark early thing. This is this time that we have changing clocks and stuff. It kind of throws everything off, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What you got on the plate tonight?
Well,
I see you're really studious right now.
yeah, I was looking at something I wrote, "The Power of Our Own Light."
Okay.
And in it, I was noting here that sickness and suffering is a sign that we don't accept the situation of what is going on. Um, the cross of Jesus and the resurrection is an indication that what was happening to him was a situation that revealed itself through the suffering.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, that this situation is speaking to reveal to us a part of us, another part of us that is not in the suffering, but is in the awareness of the suffering, observing everything that takes place. So before we came here into this story, projection into this story, we decided to put up on the front board the things that was going to take place with us, that which revealed us as, okay, don't be afraid to say this, revealed us as being the only begotten sons, or you might say daughters, sons of God, the only begotten. So there's been only one, and that was Jesus, and we are that one in him.
Yeah.
And him in us.
Yeah.
The I who is suffering is the I of the story, but the I of the eternal essence has not wavered any at all because of any events that is not speaking truth. We are the truth of God in the suffering that will not change because of the pressure. It's no need for us to change because we are the ones that set it up so that the glory of our own light will be or come forth. Wow. I like that. I like that. The I who is suffering, the I that we are as the eternal self is not suffering, but we were inside of him, inside of each other, coming forth to bear witness. When Jesus was on the cross and was put in the tomb, he left his body.
Yeah.
And my experience in out of body and leaving the body is an example that you can leave the body and still be around and in the parallel universe. Everybody's seen a thing that is we call it black and white, up and down, in or out, all or none. But some have misunderstood that some of us leave, go straight in. Some of us that leave don't go anywhere, but instantly we are there. Some travel, some don't. We are there. But what we are interested in doing is understanding, like Moses was in the wilderness, and I just read that some of it, that Moses was a contractor or a structure builder. He had potential to put the tabernacle together along with Aaron and his sons, Aaron's sons. And it said in there that when the glory of the Lord was down on the tabernacle, Moses and nobody else could go in it. But when it was lifted, he could go in it. And that was a daily thing. It was not coming in 6 months later. It was a daily thing. But in our situation or purpose here now, that light and glory, okay, here it comes. It never leaves us.
Right. It is what
because we are it. Wow. I mean, where they experience it by coming and going. And you know, there's still a lot of us locked into the body mind that don't fully understand and fully implement our true identity, even though willfully we don't. It is still automatically implemented as never leaving. Boy, I'm so glad to find that out. Because you know,
well, you know, when we often talk about God creating everything, but there was no other substance for God to use to create anything but itself. And so everything is in actuality the substance of God. And so we look for God, but we don't see God because God is in everything we see. And not only in everything we see, because that we see is that which we perceive is not what it appears to be. That's the thing. It is in actuality the very substance of God.
You see, Moses put the mercy seat together. He was a contractor and the engineer of that tabernacle, and the Lord told him how to fix it.
Gave him the specifications.
Yeah, and see, I found out that in reference and parallel, the Garden of Eden was designed, if the story is true, it was designed where the land itself was in the cubits and measurements of the anatomy, and then the flowing of the rivers.
Yeah, and even the temple, they say, is the cubits of a man.
Yeah, and Noah's Ark was the same way, and the tabernacle and the Ark of Covenant.
So would you say everything that we've read in the Bible then about the tabernacle, the Ark, and the temple, all of that is a parallel esoteric meaning of man?
Yeah, that's right.
And how God related to man.
That's right.
So if in the tabernacle, if God resided on the mercy seat in the Holy of Holies, then that means in man, God resides in that special spot that no one has ever touched.
Right, that's right. Well,
and in that spot, in the holy place, in the most holy place, there was absolute silence. There was absolute darkness. The only light there was God.
and it said, it said Moses brought the ark into the tabernacle and set up the veil of the covering and covered the ark of the testimony as the Lord had commanded him. And he put the tablets in there. So anybody just couldn't just touch this or be around it.
Yeah.
So there were some people in the camp that had to stay at a distance from the tabernacle because of the degree of essence that they operated in. I just say vaguely saying, but then there were those that were straight right next to it, up close. And then there was those that were another stage, like dimensions. The camps was like dimensions coming forward and back. And Moses and some of the others could touch those things and it would not destroy them. So now what really happened to us and what really waking up is, okay, here it goes. Waking up is you are now that Moses and that Aaron and the sons of Aaron, you are now that Noah representing the you can touch, or you are the touch of God. Now it said also that there was an incense, a fragrance that was there. Well, here it is again. We are God's fragrance. Lord, we are God's fragrance. Oh yes. Now, and what I like about this, contract, we looked it over. We didn't look it over. Please hear me. We did not look over these contracts in the mind of the earth.
That's true.
We didn't look at it.
That's true.
In the mind of watching television. We didn't do that in the mind of having a big dinner and chicken and blessing each chicken to die that we might live.
Needing money to pay bills.
Yeah, we didn't look at this contract of coming over here trying to figure out what we're gonna do and figure out maybe I will turn left and right when I get to the stoplight. We didn't sign this thing. We signed it with our essence, and it's not so much with a pen and ink. Please understand, we did not sign ink and paper in this contract because that would perish. That would not stand the eternal. Remember, everything that we touch before here, it is eternal self. It does not relinquish any of the essence. Lord have mercy. I could just crack down the middle.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, Lord. I feel and I sense the grace of God talking to you guys. And I sense the presence of you coming in. It's almost like you just couldn't wait to hear this stuff. And I'm glad to know that you are excited about it. You know, when we get ready to go off somewhere, I can't mention these words because baby girl will pick up on it. There's certain words we can say. And that puppy, I don't care if she's asleep.
Even now, she's understood when we spell it.
Yes, so. Lord. And we don't spell it and we don't say it. We just say, come on. And if we say that in a different expression, oh, she gets so excited. She go to barking and jumping up, down there and growling and carrying on. Now, today we were sitting in the Jeep and we come down. My wife had some chicken tenders and baby girl was standing up in the back of the Jeep with the seat flat and she stood up on the console. And when she saw it, she
peeps her head right in the middle between us. Yeah. And while I was eating the chicken nuggets, baby girl was trying to get up to my chicken nuggets. She was trying to bite them.
Oh, she'd do it. I'd be sitting at the table and she'd bring her nose up and I'd say, And sometimes when she do that, I say, ha.
But she was talking.
Yeah, oh yeah, she talking.
She was talking.
And then when you don't give it to her fast enough like a baby, she said, I said, oh, hold it, girl, you gonna drive? Do I need to get out and let you have the wheel?
She's become very vocal lately.
Oh yeah,
very vocal. But
and when we go to a store, listen, you'd have to be in there to see it. You are, and we go to the store. She think we're gonna get out and leave her. And she goes to whining like one of them Eskimo dogs. I say, calm it, girl. Hold your horses. Cool your lily. And the wife had to really be stern with her because she's emotional, very emotional.
So you brought all that up for?
Yeah. I'm talking about Moses. I'm saying that to say that you signed this. It's like my Lord or the Lord that you are signed the Lord's contract, the Lord's essence was the essence signing. So when God signed it, the boss man was us. Oh God, the boss man, the cook, the CEO, the owner, the fabricator of this is, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you made me think of something. When we start out on these paths, well, I say start out on these paths, but in actuality, we are born at the point of the best point of our evolution, where things are really custom built for our maximum evolution. So we start out there, and there are some questions that come up. You mentioned suffering in the very beginning. There are questions that comes up when you're faced with something that causes suffering.
Yeah.
And those questions cannot be answered by anybody. There's some questions that no one can answer because it's related to your path. And I remember a couple of weeks ago on our impromptu, I read a few notes from way back in the esoteric Jewish tradition, Judaic tradition. There were those who were a part of the initiated into this esoteric classification. So they gave they said there are 32 paths. I'll just say it like that. 32 paths. And it says some of the paths are what they call a public road, and I don't know how it's pronounced. Derek, which is spelled Derekh. Some of you may know it better than I. It's a public road. It's a road that's used by everyone. But the path that we use is one that's hidden. It's a hidden path. It has no markers and no signposts. It must be discovered by the one who's getting ready to walk it. It is tread by means of your own devices. You have to walk it, finding your own way. So that's what happens when we face certain challenges in our lives. Those challenges are designed for us to find that path and walk it.
You can't invite us to dinner and we sit down and eat, and when we get through eating, we can't get up from the table and somebody say to us, don't leave yet. You don't have to run off. And I'll tell them, I said, well, I'm not going to run out there. I'm just going to get up from the table, walk on out there and get in the car and go home.
Yeah.
But watch this now. Just because you see an object getting up, going to the car to leave, we are not gone. Now, here's my point. There is a group of us that came into this dimension like we did when we were in school, going to the homeroom in high school. We all met in one place. Glory. And we went into this place and we sat there and we wondered who was going to be our homeroom teacher and who was going to be with us in our classes. I looked at the teachers, I looked around, I said, I don't know about that one. I'll take this one. But even though the mind decided to take one, you still may or may not know who's going to be your homeroom teacher.
Mhm.
What I like about this, after years of looking at it, I can see God, us coming to earth in groups,
Yeah.
in dozens of packs and groups. That's another word I want to use. But we came here amongst those who come in our sales groups.
Mhm. Our soul groups.
Soul groups, you might say, yeah. And we all came here. Now, watch this. I've noticed
Yeah.
when somebody crosses over or the body died, I kind of can sense and feel, and you'll start getting like this more empathic if you haven't already. I can feel the sense of the vibrations of those that are constantly leaving and those that are constantly coming. This has been going on in a cycle, a return, coming and going in the sense of the brick and mortar, the five senses. And if you'll notice that when you get up to I'm like the 75th or 73, 74, 75, I've noticed
The seventh decade.
the decade. I noticed that certain ones leave, and I look over the movie stars and the ones that are no longer with us, and it's a sadness there, but at the same time, I'm understanding that this leaving and sadness is the voice of God telling us take the present moment seriously, because when I look at those Olympic girls and boys that are winning those trophies and things, and I had my time with that, there's a part of me that wants to recapture that time, and you can't do it.
Yeah.
You got to stay up in the part of you that is present at the moment in your awareness. But now, this thing of going through is an indication. Now, watch this. You in this have to be a supernatural being. And you've gotten accustomed to going through so many things in this story.
Yes, yes.
That it has to be something new to raffle or get in your craw to make or shock you to pay attention, because you've gotten so used to this dimension of separation that it doesn't phase you. You go to a funeral and you look down in there, you might be crying because your loved one and all that kind of stuff. But when you look down in there, there is a cause clause there that you agreed to. They did, and you're seeing their contract fulfilled for their physical bodies. But there's something about us say, no, we don't come out loud and say, I'll never. And the Reverend get up there and talk about, I'll never be, not me. I'm gonna be here a long time. All right, here it comes. There's a wake up call. I told somebody when men start going through the change, which they don't believe they do, some of them, as same as the females, I can tell when they get ready. There's a change in their presence more than anything, but the teeth start falling out, and they start snowing in the services and in the church, and they be about to fall out on the floor, and they got sleep apnea. And I can tell when it's there. And with the ladies, well, the men, in our congregation, we saw guys coming out with them little bitty fans sitting up there blowing. They're having hot flashes, and they say, "Oh, this fan," and they don't believe that they have it. And stress is called stress in the pelvic floor that ladies have, and men have it the same way, but it's in they so much in denial. Waking up is saying to the denial, I am now aware of the move of God in my oneness. I am aware of what has been basically told to me about the realness of God. I'm waking up. I'm waking up as the pure self to
Right.
the pure contracts that I brought with me, listed in my solar plex area. I can read now because at this awakening state, at a certain point of physical age, you will start waking up because your body was designed to prepare itself for departure.
True, true. Now, like today, we were at the service station, and
Mm,
he was getting gas,
mm, mm.
putting in the gas in the Jeep. And tell
Yes,
him what you
Lord.
saw. Tell him what you
Well,
saw.
when I went into the service station, I always tell them I want 25 gas, um,
25 gas.
$25 worth of gas. I always say 25, 25, 193.
193.
Yeah, that's the numbers. Okay. When
Well,
I say
go ahead.
okay,
Finish.
when I say 25, that's how much I want.
Okay.
Then I say pump one.
Okay.
And when I said 93, that's the
the
proof.
The grade.
And
Yes.
some of the ladies in there look at me and say, "What was that?"
Right, like I just
Okay.
did. Like,
Yeah,
what
like
is
you're
that?
doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
I looked when I came back to put the gas in the Jeep. This guy had gotten out of his car, and I kept noticing
He was really short.
he was real short. And I looked down at him. He had a built-up sock or pad around his knee and part of his leg. Both legs had been amputated, and he was actually pumping gas. And I wanted to talk to him, and I could have pushed the issue to talk to him, and I could have found a reason to talk to him, but I didn't.
But it impacted you.
Oh Lord!
It impacts
Oh
us when we
God!
see, and we talked about it after you got in the car. It impacts us when we see a person who has been challenged by
Yes,
life,
yes,
and yet they are no longer resisting it, but they are now working with
yes.
it, not against
I
it.
prayed that the universe would have fixed it again so I could run into him or see him sometime.
Yeah,
This was
yeah.
awesome.
But
I saw a man
it
that's
was a
working.
it's a message to
Yeah,
us.
it is.
It's a message to us that no matter what the challenges are in our lives, we don't have to work against those challenges. We can work with it
I saw
and
God.
transcend every
Mhm.
bit of the suffering.
I saw God talking to me about looking at that man,
Mhm.
and he looked like he didn't have a problem at all. He was putting the gas in there. Oh, I wanted to talk to him, but I said, no, I better leave alone.
It's the God self that comes forward.
And I knew, and then I didn't think about it. I said, now, wait a minute. He drove off like everybody else did. And I looked around, he was there, now he's gone.
Mhm.
I said, wait a minute, how did he change the gears?
He probably has the controls on the
Yeah,
up
yeah.
top. Yeah.
I'm telling you, God, I'm telling you, I saw God in a magnificent
And
way.
it's interesting that when you do see those kinds of things, every bit of resistance inside of you about what's happening in your present moment, it goes away.
I turned and I didn't want to stare at him, but I turned and looked at him at the corner of my eye around the pump, and I looked down, and he was down. I said, what in the world?
It's amazing.
Yes,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, Lord. So here we go. We come in groups and we leave in groups.
Mm-hmm.
You can come to the place in sense and knowing that whoever you see, you can just about tell when they are going to leave and practically how they're going to leave or how long they will stay. I'm telling you, oh Lord, the inside down in my chest, the fire. I want to tell you something else I found out. The tabernacle in the wilderness, when the fire of God come down on the tabernacle, they had to back away when the fire was lifted. I was told as I was looking at this just before we got it come online, the 5 manifestations of the fire of God that I saw around my heart, and that is around everybody's heart on this planet. Even the animals got a certain light that glows and fire that burns around their heart. That's the energy of our own light. Our heavenly light is of different colors. beautiful technicolor, panoramic colors, living color, live colors around the heart. And I know now that these are the colors that was used for the haberdashery in the tabernacle. The cloud of glory. Now, when I was there in the council chamber, I had a chance to meet by sight and knowing the actual fire of God that still is one of Jesus or God's collections. Those artifacts that were used in the wilderness to get them across the desert, even the dirt itself is a super duper type of substance that and I'm saying this because I've heard under my house, I've heard water talk to me, and I've here lately as my ears are going in and out of focus. I've learned to hear the water scenes on the computer. It'll say walking in the rain scenes for relaxation.
You really like that now, yeah.
And I just picked up right then in my spirit, in my heart, that there's somebody listening to us online now. You've been having trouble sleeping, and you wake up many times in the night. And I see and sense the presence of the light energy and the colors of God around you, and your energy field and your heart is bringing you back to a place of rest. Whether you sleep 5 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour all night, there is I see the presence of your angel, which represents the presence, a part of your eternal essence standing with you, and you're now resting in the arms of the Almighty.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. In fact, we just speak that for every one of us.
Yes.
That may be having those issues at night and not being able to sleep through.
Yeah. These conditions are not liabilities, but assets. And they may appear to be a liability until...
Well, you've used yours. When you can't sleep, you get up and you go in your prayer closet.
Oh, yeah.
You used it. And a lot of people call it the witching hour. You know, if you wake up between 3 and 4, or 3 and 5, they say that this is the time when spirit is most active.
I call it the walk of God. It's the God kind of walk. Up,
the God kind of walk.
Up.
When you say that, what do you mean? The God kind of walk.
Oh Lord, I've done what I say. I done
the God kind of walk.
The God kind of walk, but I'm popping.
I know you're popping.
The God kind of walk. Here it is. The God kind of walk. Here it is. Wait a minute. Let me lay it on you. Paint it over your head and think. The God kind of walk is the God kind of talk that we were talking now. See, wait a minute. Let me see if I can break it down to you.
All right, break it down.
You can't be separated anymore from God, so it's no longer you that live, but Christ that live. And I found the walk of God being my natural, everyday, 24/7 steps.
Okay.
I am moving hand of God.
What I hear you saying in that is,
okay, go ahead.
If we can't sleep during the night, all night long, and we're up and down, some of us resist that.
Yes.
When we don't have to resist it, it's the God kind of walk.
Yes.
You realize if I get up, it's God. If I sleep, it's God. If I don't sleep, it's God.
Oh, it is wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I've walked the walk of God and didn't even know what it was. Now listen.
Yeah. So now we're not trying to walk.
No.
The walk of God. We just realize that as we walk, we're walking.
I found the definition of the walk of the Spirit.
Yes.
Let's say you get up in the night and you go to the restroom. That is the walk of God going to relieve his body in the restroom. And sometimes the walk of God will set him down on the commode or whatever it is, and he'll go back to sleep while he's sitting there, or your leg will go to sleep while
yeah, right.
And you'll make a lot of noise in there. That's the God kind of noise.
Oh my God.
Hey, be happy because you gonna get up. God's gonna get up. God get up from there. And he's going to either go back to bed or he is going to go downstairs, get a little tea, a little water, or take a vitamin or whatever it is. Get it's the peanut butter time, so he'll get a spoon of peanut butter and drink some water to wash it down. But
or get up and drink a cup of chamomile tea
ooh,
and sit there and read until
yes, Lord
it goes
Jesus.
to sleep.
Yeah, put a little stuff in there to spike it, make it taste good. You know what I mean? And just sit there and you find the walk of God, the steps of God, and the sleepiness of God in a good way comes over your body, and you're sitting there, you about to bump your head on the table, and you said it's time for the walk of God to get up and get back into bed.
Well, I'm gonna read something that I had written down.
Go right ahead.
When we talk to God as a separate entity, we are simply bouncing back and forth concepts, playing ping pong with ourselves. God playing ping pong with himself.
That's the whole truth.
Our concept is duality.
Yes.
And out of that duality comes other concepts, which is the ping pong effect.
Look out, girl, you're gonna tear up something now.
And that's how we've lived our life pretty much, with those concepts of ping pong. And God, I talk to God, God talks to me.
Look at this. Suffering is the key. It is the key existing at that moment to expose the false self.
Yes. Well, and I've noticed this. When I have fallen into suffering and it's bad enough, it chases me back to my real self.
Yes.
It chases me back to my real self.
I'm convinced that the rest of God is us. We are his rest.
Yes. We're God's rest and we're God's doing.
Yes.
Okay. Here, Linda's saying something. Hey, Linda, she says, this moment we are aware of being.
Yes.
But also aware of being someone.
Yes.
Yeah. This someone is the veil that hides the being that we really are. Yes. Ma'am. That's exactly right.
Yes.
We have the strongest inclination to think that we're living behind these eyeballs.
All right.
And that is what veils what we really are.
The eye that thinks of the evil, sometimes this eye that thinks of the evil seems to overwhelm itself to the degree of using the subconscious to make it seem real.
Okay.
The only way you can override this programming is through emphatically applying the not me doing this awareness.
The not me doing
It is not
this
not me, the real self, that is doing this horrible PTSD thinking. Okay. And once
is that enough to just say that's not me? Is it enough?
No, you'll find out more ways to handle this thing from your eternal self in wisdom and insight. Because sometimes people say I had a bad dream, but I woke up in the middle of the night and screaming and PTSD and all that memories of the past. I deal with it some, but I don't deal with it because just, you know what? By knowing in the deep recesses of the crevices of the house of my soul, I know that these weird alternate feelings, dark feelings,
are not you.
is an asset to me locking in more to what I am not in these thoughts and these feelings.
So, and that's where a lot of us start. We start with knowing what we're not, finding out what we're not.
That's right.
And at some point we move from that. But our initial awakening is finding out what we're not. And then, because a lot of times we'll say, that I know these thoughts and feelings are not me.
Mm-hmm.
But then at some point, that doesn't feel, that doesn't, I won't say it like that, that it doesn't take us to the next step. We know it's not us, but that isn't satisfactory.
You're going to experience the dragging of the beast on your coattail.
Mm-hmm.
I remember studying long years ago in some parts of the country when somebody committed a crime and murdered a certain person, they would take the body of that person and tie it to them.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it feels like. Let me tell you something. I want you to hear this. I investigated into Jesus going to the cross. I had a chance to walk to the back side of it and look up and see who was on the back side of it. Then I had a chance to go around to the front of it and look up. I was on the front, and I went to the back, and there's a part of me on the back. The stripes that was on his back was on our back. Mm-hmm. Co-identity. Mm-hmm. But then I looked again.
And that's what this whole thing has been for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We started out with co-identity.
That's what we started out with. From
we
day
co-identified with Jesus Christ.
That's right.
And it led us into this opening.
I saw the dark mind or the dark entities of the subconscious pulling, like we call Satan and the devils. I saw Jesus dragging him or them or it, every bad thought and everything.
Every program.
He drug it. It was dragging behind him, and it looks like that cross that he was dragging, but it was the dark world. The book said we bear about in our bodies the marks of the Lord Jesus. Okay, watch this. I also found out that these illusionary dark things bear also the marks of the crucifixion on the head, the thorn, the hands. Yeah.
Well, you preached that years ago.
Yeah.
You said not only was Jesus on the cross, he drugged Satan to the cross.
The illusion, the lying thing.
Yes, he drugged that to the cross, and it has the marks on it.
To remind it that it is no longer, it can no longer hold us.
Exactly.
Only out of ignorance would it be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you got something there? This is meant to be so that you could look at this in this gracious world earth as to the glory of your own light. Our true self, Jesus self, is also saying to us and to his death, our death, that we are free from the onslaughts of these ideas, feelings, and thoughts that used to make us slaves. We're not looking at just Indian slaves and African slaves and black slave, white, black, polka dot with stripe. All of us are victims in this world of dream and story as being victims, but I unvictimize you. That's the reason why Jesus came. So when he looks at us, he sees himself experiencing us and being us.
Yes.
So that we no longer have to sit around and mope and depressed ourselves awareness. Go home. Go home. Come all the way into the house. Don't stop at the door and open it and talk to people in the place. Come on in the house in your fullness. Take the leap of faith and identity and jump on in there and say, and look, there's going to always be this thing saying, how can I tell somebody this? How can I say it? Don't worry about it. It's not important. That's not your job, the doing self. You just relax. The occasion will arise and it will be the right time. Maybe today, the reason why I didn't say to that man that was down on his stub knees, I questioned him because it wasn't time.
Baby girl, no, stop it.
And so we see, we feel, we hear, we taste, but we are also learning how to sit at the master's table.
Let me read the scripture.
Go ahead.
It's in Ephesians 2, 14. It says, "For he, Jesus Christ, is our peace, who has made both one and has broken down the wall of separation between them. And he has abolished by his precious body the enmity between them. And he has abolished by his commandments the ordinances of the law, that he may create in his person from the two a new man, thus making peace, and reconcile both in one body with God, and with his cross he destroyed the enmity." And he was talking in this case about the Gentiles and the Jews, but it also parallels to us as beings and God. The two, there was a consciousness here of being two, of me and God. And now that's being abolished by the co-identification with Jesus Christ. That's being abolished. So making peace. One new man.
One new man.
It's just one here.
That's
It
right.
is just
That's right.
one. And that's what union means, not two.
That's right. That's right. Now,
non-duality means not two.
I looked again when the veil was split from top to bottom. I saw an entity go up to that veil and try to put it back together and sew it up with a hook needle.
I remember you saying that.
I saw him. The last stitch and thread broke, and the veil was open. I look at the church brick and mortar and what we were in, and I see just a little bit of it online, the fussing, the fighting, trying to get somebody to do it like they want it done. Religion, they will fight you. There's a church in home place where we were raised up. You could hear more policemen around that place than Van Camp got pork and beans, Bush pork and beans. And they was in there fighting, and some of them knocking each other out because they don't want this one to be overseer. And my sister and my mother had a chance to sit right in the midst of it. Now hear this. I know now. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna say it without fear. I can say it now because I know.
You know better.
Yeah. I can look at these things that we went through now and can see the ego in it. You don't find too many evangelicals or too many Baptist, Methodist, whatever, even Catholic, Holiness, and all that. You don't find too many of them in the pulpit saying something about the definition of the ego. The closest they got to the ego part was that edging God out.
Yeah.
That's just something somebody come up with out of their own ego. They also found out that the faith realm was men who taught about walking by faith, see it, hear it, say it, and
even a lot of that was egotistical.
And I didn't understand it then, but now I do.
A lot of it was
I don't have any judgment, but I see it, and you'll even see it within your own self. Not to try to change it, but you just see it. It's very sad because I know of a lot of them that I used to go to, and I didn't know what I was seeing. I just joined in with it because I didn't know no better. But I can go to them now if I wanted to, and act like somebody got some sense.
Sure, you can play the part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen many prophetic people go to services like that and stand up and disrupt the service and make a big scene that the Lord told me to tell you guys that you're living.
There's this competition for specialness.
Just like the White House, Washington, D.C.
The competition for specialness, and it's everywhere.
I told somebody I don't have time. I didn't allot my time in this dimension for that kind of trash, messy stuff. And not that I'm better, and I don't please, it's just that I am.
Yes. I want to ask John something.
Yeah.
John Greason, what does this little box mean? You keep putting it up there. I want to know what it means, young man.
I didn't see it.
See the little box he's got there?
Oh, yeah,
I don't know what that square means,
John.
brother Greason. Tell us what that means. Please.
You got the John up there. That's John.
I know you're commenting about something. I just recently learned what SMH meant in texting. I didn't know what that meant.
What does that mean?
Shaking my head. And Linda says, "Baby girl is adding joy to this party." Yes, baby
Yeah,
girl is determined. She's eating all of her treats. She's determined she's
she
gonna
is.
get some attention, and she hasn't had a lot of things to do today because it's been raining
Yeah,
here.
it's been raining all
So
day
she
today.
hasn't been able to run and play. So she's got this energy pent up in her.
When you tell her to stop, she gets disappointed, go
Yeah.
chewing
Anyway.
on her toes.
Yeah.
But
So anyway, that's what that is, Linda. That's baby girl adding to the party, like you said.
may the blessings of the eternal self come forward in your consciousness and bless everything. Multiply is the definition of blessing, and multiply an unlimited sum of doors opening for all of you, and that the angel of the Lord, which is your private personal self in that angelic realm, will begin to manifest and show forth to you such joy of being able to be in this world and know the truth about everybody that lives as the eternal being. This is a great, wonderful experience that we're having. And we started out like this, but we did not. I've always wondered when we started off in union with Christ and we studied with Union Christ Ministry, and we got the brochures from Norman Grubbs.
Union Life Ministry.
Yeah, Union Life Ministry.
Yeah.
And we studied it.
We cut our teeth on Norman Grubbs.
We sure did.
We did.
And I tell you, I never would have thought that we would have come so direct at this moment by the closing of the brick and mortar through the damn panic, the pandemic and the damn panic. And I just thank you guys for waiting on us for the moment of resurrection consciousness to gaze in, take your shoes off and walk into the Holy of Holies of your true identity. I thank you so much.
Yeah. And I wanted, a lot of times when people come in to hear us and they haven't been, this isn't familiar to them, but at the same time it begins to resonate with them. There are certain things I wish they could encounter or study in order to catch up, so to speak. Because it's the co-identification with Jesus Christ that actually brought us into this complete opening of understanding.
Yes.
And that's what following Jesus is. That's what following Jesus Christ is co-identifying to the point that you realize that your life is not your own. And that's why we adhere and we hold on to that one scripture in Galatians 2:20. It is not I that live, but Christ. And the life that I now live, we live by the faith of the Son of God, not faith in the Son of God.
And now we can praise God for the oneness that we see with each other. Each other removed from each other and being just one.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And yes, Linda, we are the resurrection and the life, and we are the ancient ones. We are that. That's what we are. And coming to the point of knowing that, we've gotten beyond believing that we're that. We just know that we're that. And it's an odd place to be in sometimes.
If this rascal come up and I just stuck my finger in the nose.
Oh, baby girl.
This girl, she is looking for attention. Look at her. Ain't that a hot dog?
Have mercy.
That baby, she don't like when we get too involved with everything else.
Baby girl.
But anyway, this is heaven.
She knows it's 1 minute before it's an hour.
And this heaven has no suffering. This heaven, who is we us.
Yes.
If it was not real, we would not be able to say that there's a part of us. We know it now. We done called hope to the hook.
Yes. Linda says there's no going back.
No,
and you
darling.
can't. You often said it like this. You can't, once you touch life, you won't go back to death.
That's the truth. She got baby girl rubbing her nose here. She's right there in front of her.
She's ready to eat dinner. That's what it is.
Yeah.
She's ready.
When we were in the brick and mortar, when time got close for us to close the doors and go back home, she'd always get up and grab the offering basket. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Yes, that's baby girl.
I love you.
Thank you guys for putting up with baby girl.
I love you with the heart of baby girl. No going back, Miss Linda. Oh, if I was sitting there in the room with you in the physical realm, we would just cry of joy. The joy of the Lord would be all over us. I just see you. I just see you, and I feel the presence. You are now the light of God. And this light that you're walking in, it does not come and go anymore like it did in the wilderness.
It's true.
Because in this wilderness that
This
we're
light
in,
can't go and it can't come.
we
It's
are
always here.
forever
Always
the
here.
light of God.
We love you too, Pastor Norman, and we'll see
Yeah,
you
we
again
do. We
on
love you.
Thursday.
Thursday at 12:30.
We'll be back at on Thursday at
Thank you for the love.
12:30 with Pastor Norman, and we look forward to that because we have
Yes.
great conversations with him.
Mhm.
Great conversations, and we want to thank you guys for giving. We want to thank you for that, and I want to mention to you that we are going to be doing the Zoom, and that's going to be Sunday. And if you would like to be there, you need to register if you haven't already. And I put it in the comments section that you can just hit the link and do it.
Mhm.
And it's also on Facebook. You also have it there. And I sent out emails today. Hopefully, I've got your email, and you should have gotten that. Once you register, you will get a confirmation for that and a link to be able to join us on Sunday. We'll be there at 10 a.m.
So we're live and in color.
Yeah. So that'll be our regular Sunday service. We're just doing it on Zoom versus doing it here on StreamYard. And hopefully you guys will join us. And if you don't know
Okay.
how to go do the Zoom, I think it does stream to YouTube. And Oliver can help me with that. All of you on here, help me with that. Does it stream to YouTube automatically? I've got it set up to do that, but I didn't know if they could still see it that way. But I think they can.
Okay.
So that's
Come to another point.
Yeah.
You have to take off.
Yeah. So let me know if you haven't registered. Let me know if you're doing it now. And you can also give now, whichever you, and like and share. This is the
Okay.
time to hit the like button and share if you know somebody that would like to see these
And remember,
sessions. And
you are the walk of God.
definitely.
100,000%.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.